Hello everyone and welcome back to the New York Empoleon's Week 6 battle of the BBR. We are here this week taking on Big Keegan. Kigo? It's Big Kigo in the Discord server, but I think it's just Keegan. I don't know if he's particularly big either. Anyways, Keegan, coach of the Olympique Flygon. If you have not seen them before, go check them out. Link is in the description below. I think it's just Olympique Flygon, but it's Olympique. You gotta be fancy in French here. With the abbreviation OF, which is definitely only Flygons. Anyway, my opponent... No, not my opponent. Me! I made a transaction. My opponent probably made transactions at some point. I made a transaction. I now have a Alolan Muck. I don't have Pheasantipity anymore. So... that has changed my roster. The Indeedee is still my Terra Captain as it has been for the past few weeks. But I now have an Alolan Muck for the rest of the season. Trade deadline is now closed as of week 6. So there will be no further transactions for this team. I never brought Pheasantipity. It never seemed tempting. It just doesn't... I don't know. Maybe it's bulkier than I'm giving it credit for and it can take the super effective hits. But it just doesn't dish out any real damage and just wasn't good in Draft League format. Alolan Muck is good in Draft League format. Super annoying, very good utility mon, and I'm actually very excited to use it. So, glad it's back, glad to use it, wish it had Toxic Spikes. Life goes on. Additionally, we are riding a 4-game winning streak, which is really unexpected, to be honest, because I took over this team, and I didn't see that coming. And because of the 4-game winning streak we're on, and because of all of the other results in all of the other battles, if we win this week, we clinch a playoff spot. In fact, if we win any single battle for the rest of the season, there are 3 weeks left, week 6, 7, 8, we clinch playoffs. If we lose every battle, we can still make playoffs depending on other results in the league. So there's a lot less stress at the rest of the season, but I would love to not have to care at all for weeks 7 and 8. And as a result, I would love to get the clinch here and finish it now. So I did prep for this battle like it was a regular battle, and it does matter because this one would be the first chance I have to clinch playoffs. Additionally, any of these that I lose, I'm probably out of the running to get like a top seed. Not that it really affects anything, because I believe playoffs are just quarterfinals, so it's not like you're getting a bye or anything at the top of the bracket, and I don't think there's going to be any easy matchups there. But avoiding the top few seeds, you know, top seeds are like undefeated or close to it, because I'm still like going into this week like the 4 or 5 seed, which is crazy, at 4-1. So going into that, I don't want to be like, you know, I don't want to be facing any of them, and so giving myself a top 3, top 4 spot just avoids matchups with the scariest teams for as long as possible and lets you go deeper into the playoffs. And so this is my chance to continue pushing for that. Otherwise, there's not much more to say. We had a question of the day last week. I could have another question of the day. I don't know. I don't have anything planned for question of the day, but it seemed well received, so I'll go ahead and pull something up. All right. This one is one that will not be in the TBL server at the time of recording, so you just got to guess and answer it here on the YouTube channel. Because of a theme that we use in the TBL server, this is where this question comes from. 2 Pokemon, exactly 2 Pokemon, not 2 lines, 2 Pokemon share the category Mystic Pokemon. What 2 Pokemon are they? There's 2 names of Pokemon in the comments. Don't cheat. Don't do anything shady. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. But yeah, Mystic Pokemon. What 2 Pokemon are they? We're about to be back. Alright, we back. Let's see which 6 Pokemon my opponent is bringing. And it looks like it's the Palafin, Meowscarada, Raging Bolt, Okidogi, Iron Jugulus, and Palisand. Palisand, the objectively more scary PAL Pokemon on that team. Don't at me. Alright. Let me see. So no Clefable, no Skeledirge, no Bronzong, no Terra Captain, Cyclizar. Sure. I think the plan remains the same. Lead Rillaboom so Palafin doesn't get a free flip turn off. And then probably click knockoff on just basically whatever's in, unless it's Meowscarada. Meowscarada, I could just go out into Torkoal. I don't really want to use the eject button that quickly, but Meowscarada could use U-turn, turn into a bug type. Torkoal gets in, eject button's out, the U-turn fails, or it hits me, but then I switch out off eject button, and the Meowscarada stays in, which is nice when that happens. It's really nice when that happens. And it is the Palossand. Okay. So knockoff seems like the safest, most annoying play for my opponent here. There's just not a lot of things that want to come in on a knockoff. On an Adamant Life Orb knockoff, it's going to 2-hit KO. Grassy Glide, obviously not as good against something like Meowscarada. I mean, it does a little bit more, but I would be shocked if that was what came in. Okie dokie is what comes in. And we're going to get a knockoff off on that. We're going to crit it. We're going to get hurt by the Rocky Helmet. There were so many after turn things that just popped up there with Life Orb and everything else. So Rocky Helmet's gone. I'm going to get our HP recovered. We're going to see that we are faster. That's really important to know because we have high horsepower and we should be able to kill this thing now. If not, it's going to be very close. That clearly looks like it's defensive in some regard. But I would love to get a high horsepower off here and do a ton of damage. And should they survive this, then they have a lot of bulk, and maybe they can't kill me back. Gunk Shot probably kills me if they survive this. But it looks like we are going to take out the Okie Dokie. It's a crit again. Jesus. One of those crits 100% mattered. The other one, I don't, and it could have been either of them. Like, right? Like, they both, like, the combination of having a crit mattered. But, like, I only needed one, I think. And it could have been either. Like, the knockoff crit put it in range of high horsepower, I think. And if the knockoff didn't crit, the high horsepower would have killed. That said, if the knockoff didn't crit, I don't think I would have been comfortable enough going for the high horsepower. I probably would have just clicked U-turn or just hard switched. Jugulis comes in now, and that's not surprising. And there's no booster energy. I'm not sure what item it is. I do have an Heatran here, and I think that's gonna be my switch in. It's a Solve S Heatran, so it's gonna be able to take hits pretty well. Power Gem looks to do a lot of damage to Iron Jugulis. Dark Pulse with no Quark Drive, just a straight U-turn. That's super reasonable here too to see. But I just don't know what they want to bring in on a Heatran. Palossand? Maybe? I'm living one Earth Power. And can fire off a Dark Pulse, get a chance to flinch. Palafin could come in, I guess. If Palafin does come in, I think I just stay in. I might stay in on this too. I'm not full? I'd be shocked if Earth Power kills here. So I think I just Dark Pulse for big damage. I think I just Dark Pulse for big damage. And if I take an Earth Power, I take an Earth Power. Like, I'll live it. And this is a really nice Iron Jugulis check, so maybe it was worth switching out. But I think they're going to predict a switch out. They might, like, set up Stealth Rock or something. We're going to fire off a Dark Pulse. How... Oh boy, okay. Now is when you start feeling bad for your opponent. I'm just going to Lava Plume here. We saw the Dark Pulse did that much. It's the range that Lava Plume will kill. I don't know what they went for, but boy, oh boy, this is where you just start feeling bad. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Yeesh. Crit, flinch? I mean, I don't have control over that, you know? I don't have any, like, you know, my opponent can be mad at me if they want, but, like, I didn't do it. I didn't choose that. So Raging Bolt comes in. Lava Plume does not burn. Okay. Probably for the best. But I can just Earth Power this. I mean, Iron Jugulus could come back in, but I'm not too stressed about that. We can scout out how fast they are, because I am running a little bit of speed, so we can see if they outspeed me here. They can, certainly, and they can outspeed me while still being modest. So we're going to get a nice calc off, and then we're going to get a chance to see how fast they are. I'm not running... Like, I outspeed naturally, and I am running a little bit, so we do see that we outspeed. That's very good information. That does literally nothing. Goodness gracious. Okay. They're going to find out that Volt Switch also does literally nothing. I think they are also Assault Vest, based on that. And now what? Like, Palafin? Must be their switch in. It's going to have to be Pal at this point. Right, like that's it. This is your chance to get it in for free. They went Iron Jugulus? What? What? It had to be Palafin. I don't know about this one. I feel like I just click Lava Plume. Don't risk any sort of weakness policy set. It should 2-hit KO. Even if it doesn't, it puts it in range of Power Gem on the second hit. If they go Palafin, I have a 30% burn chance. Like, maybe they're trying to bait something, but, like, they had a free switch. There's no need to bait anything. That should be Palafin right there, I think. I could see... I mean, like, again, it's like... I just got 3 hacks on the first 3 turns of the game, so, like... They could be tilted, but I don't... It's too soon, I feel like. It's just U-turn? Okay. I don't know what that was for. Like, I'm not... this was my switch into that, so, like... I guess you go back to Raging Bolt now? Is that your plan to wear it down? Is just click U-turn with Iron Jugulus as I click Earth Power into a Raging Bolt? Because eventually I'm just gonna keep clicking Lava Plume because they don't have a real answer to that. Palafin certainly doesn't want to get burned, so now it has more trouble switching in. But I feel like you just go Palafin there, and then if you want, you double out into Raging Bolt again. If you think I'm gonna stay in on the Palafin, maybe they think that I'm Pasho Berry, but I brought it in on a Jugulus. You saw the calc from the Volt Switch. You should know that I'm Assault Vested. Or at least specially defensively invested. Now they go Palafin. But they have to take a Lava Plume. And they get burned. And I just feel like, of all the hacks, that one is the one I don't feel as bad about. Like the others, yeah, those were heavily in my favor, for sure. And all of it's been heavily in my favor. Like, that's certainly not in question. But I just feel like this was a riskier play because you didn't need to go Iron Jugulus. You had the safe switch into Palafin that would have forced me out. But then by bringing it in, you let me click Lava Plume one time. And there's the flip turn. And obviously, you know, that's going to be a free flip turn. It's going to get Rocky Helmet chipped by Muck. That's... I don't know. I don't think that's Choice Banded either. Let me just double check. Muck, Palafin. No, Flip Turn would have done a lot more if it was Choice Banded. Even burned. So if it's not banded, it should do like 31 to 37. Let me take a look at what the damage was. This camera angle of Muck is weird. It's really close. We are right up with this Muck right now. I don't know why my trainer is standing this close. I feel like we could be standing a little further back from this battle. Bofana, the Meowscarada comes in on the Muck, which you just saw was physically defensive. Alright, I took 20. I took 20 damage, so you're not even adamant? You're not even attack invested. You're not even max attack? Min 0 EVs 31. Palafin does 21 min, but I took 20. I'm gonna poison jab. I don't really know. I think I just knock off, actually. You're gonna do some move. Is that spikes? Okay. Become a ground type. Sure. I'll just knock off here. Get rid of whatever item it is. Do 50%, nice. Get rid of the boots, okay. Okay, there's a layer of spikes down. I think I just knock again. I don't know what this thing's gonna go for, but if it clicks any sort of move, it takes Rocky Helmet damage. There's the knockoff, okay, but it's not stab anymore, so it's gonna do nothing. Lose my Rocky Helmet, but it still takes the damage. Then I knock off, then I have Shadow Sneak, and this thing should die. Or just dies anyway. Okay, I don't even need the Shadow Sneak. So, Muck. A kills Meowscarada with knockoff. Okay, I lost my Rocky Helmet, which is a little bit annoying because it was obviously really nice to have a Palafin. I'm confused. I think it's a special Palafin. I think it's like special Scarf Palafin with Flip Turn. But if it's Flip Turn, you should still be. So it's like minus attack? That's so bizarre. That's so wild. Right, Iron Jugulus to a Muck. I mean, I'm living any hit from this. It's probably Specs. But I'm still living a Hurricane from Specs. And I could just fire off and knock off, or I could just switch out into Heatran, which is a little bit less important to me. I mean, you didn't bring Bronzong, which means that right now, I think Indeedee just wins by clicking fairy moves. I think everything's in range of Indeedee clicking fairy moves. So I think I'm just going to go Heatran because I don't think you're making... they could U-turn. I'm just going to stay in. I'm going to click knockoff here. Earth Power comes out. Okay, we live that. And we see that we knocked off. We got Poison Touch too. At this point, it's just funny. If you don't laugh, it just seems mean. We knocked off the Scarf. Which is actually maybe better for them here that they're not Choice Scarfed. But it's better for me that they're not Choice Scarfed too, because I can just go Terra Fairy, Indeedee, and Dazzling Gleam, and everything is in range of that at this point. And I could just go... I can go Walking Wake. I could just stay in. I don't think I need Muck for anything specific, so I guess I just Shadow Sneak and let it die, right? Yeah, we're just sacking at this point. They know that. We know that. Earth Power comes out. This should kill. Okay. Iron Jugulus kills Muck A with Shadow Sneak. But legitimately, with Palafin being burned and also shutting down priority, Raging Bolt... I think Raging Bolt lives a hit. But I don't think it's OHKOing back. I'm still just going to do this play. We're just going to go into Indeedee. Definitely forgot about the spikes. Gonna be honest. Yeah, we're going to Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. Gonna Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. You don't have a resist to this. Palisand's in range of it for sure. Iron Jugulus is in range of it for sure. I think Raging Bolt's the only thing that can live. And it's because I think it's Assault Vested. Terra Fairy. Still doing 50%. We're not dying to a max special attack Modest Thunderbolt. From Assault Vest. Raging Bolt. So that should die. So Indeedee kills Iron Jugulus with Dazzling Gleam. And I can switch out too. I can just come back in an Expanding Force later, which does a little less to Raging Bolt. Just a little though. Because I could just go into like Rillaboom, click High Horsepower. We know that the Heatran outsped and the Rillaboom is faster than the Heatran, so we know that Heatran's going Rillaboom also outspeeds. the Raging Bolt. High horsepower should kill it. Yeah, so Raging Bolt comes in. I could just stay in, though. I think I can just stay in. And just click Dazzling Gleam. I don't have to. I have answers, but I don't see why I would need to do anything else. I just stay in and click Dazzling Gleam. I don't think it kills. Wow, that's really special defensive. Okay, Discharge comes out. No para. We're not going to kill with one more, so there's no reason to stay in at this point. And risk getting paralyzed. This thing can now go even crazier. I think... So we know this thing is like super specially defensive. Walking Wake in Sun. Well, that's also going to get Sun, probably for special defense. Dragon Pulse is doing a lot, though. I mean, it's doing the same amount as Dazzling Gleam here. So I think it's Heatran that comes in. Yeah, Heatran's the least useful. It doesn't set Sun for me, which is useful for Palafin. It doesn't resist Palafin or Grassy Glide into it, which Rillaboom does do. Walking Wake also resists Palafin. So I think Heatran, like, I still really like it in this matchup, don't get me wrong. It's going to tank that Discharge just fine. But it's the least valuable member, and we're just going to Earth Power here. Two Assault Vested special attackers spamming each other with moves until one of them dies. I will win this fight unless I get paralyzed. And even if I get paralyzed, I have like 16 different answers to this at that point. So we're going to see another Discharge most likely, or Volt Switch. Okay. I'm going to take that. Fine. It's at like 5% now, so Indeedee can kill it later. Rillaboom can kill it later. Heatran can kill it later. This has to be Palafin. Yep. Priority is still locked. So I'm curious what you're going to go for. I think you're special. I'm going to be honest. I think you're a special set. And I would love to find out. So we're going to stay in and we're going to click... Are we staying to stay in? Yeah, we're going to stay in, I think. I feel like it's going to like throat spray Hyper Voice or something right here. And if that's the case, the strongest attack I have is Earth Power. So I'm just going to Earth Power. Just goes for a flip turn. Okay. Even burned, that's still going to kill. So Palafin kills Heatran with flip turn. And again, I think Heatran was the least valuable member of the remaining team. Indeedee... Well, I need the terrain to kind of disappear and then reappear just so I have enough turns, but Indeedee should win this game from there. Grassy Glide also, I think, just wins from here. Palossand's certainly not surviving, Raging Bolt's not surviving, and Palafin's not surviving. So the only way that I die is if I take enough Life Orb Chip to be in range of a burned Jet Punch. But given how little Flip Turn did to the Muck earlier, I just don't think that's going to be a problem. And it is Raging Bolt that comes in. Oh, the weirdness disappears. Even better. That just means I go back to Indeedee. And this time I think click Expanding Force because that's going to do more to everything. And again, if it's Choice Scarf Palafin, then we'll find out here. And Indeedee will go down, but we still have the Rillaboom in the back to deal with that, so it's not the end of the world. We're just going to Expanding Force at this point. It's going to do more to both the Palossand and the Palafin. And it's going to do enough here to the Raging Bolt at like 5%. So Indeedee kills Raging Bolt with Expanding Force. And if it's Palafin that comes in, the correct play is to switch out into Rillaboom, expecting that this is Choice Scarfed and preserving the differential. I'm going to click Expanding Force because I'd love for it not to be Scarfed, and it's not, and just win with Indeedee. But I think the objective correct play there is technically to go into Rillaboom. Because if it goes for a water move, which it's kind of forced to do, it's not going to kill the Rillaboom. Rillaboom can then Grassy Glide both of these Pokemon, and I preserve the Indeedee. If it is scarfed, it wouldn't, you know, it just, if it isn't scarfed and it hits me with something, I'm living the hit, basically no matter what, if it's not a water move, so if it's not stab. So we are going to take out the Palisand here. And we're going to pick up a 4-0 victory, our 5th straight in the league, and some of these have been real hacksy, and all of those have been in my favor, which I'm worried is going to come back to bite me at some point. But right now, we just clinched playoffs with that, and that means the next 2 weeks, bring on the hacks. Make me cry from how bad my hacks are. I'll miss every move. I'll get burned by every Scald. Bring it on for the next 2 weeks, because it doesn't matter. We're in playoffs, and that's really important because a new league is starting up for me. The LET is starting up for me, and I'm going to be playing in that as well. And I love not having to prep hard for 2 leagues at the same time. So getting 2 weeks of just kind of freebies for this league is huge, and that's part of why I wanted to prep really hard for this week. Did the hacks matter? Yes, absolutely. They 100% affected the differential of that game substantially, and the way that I played and the way that my opponent played. There is no denying that. And every single one of them was in my favor. They never got a discharge para. They never got an earth power special defense drop, which I think are the only 2 moves they clicked that they could have gotten some sort of effect on. I got the 2 crits, I got the Dark Pulse Flinch, I got the Lava Plume Burn, I got the Poison Touch Poison. Like, yeah, 100%. Super in my favor and super affected the outcome of that game. It's impossible to know what would have happened without them. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I win that game without them. Like, certainly not in that way. But I do feel like I prepped really hard, I prepped really well, and I felt comfortable coming into this match with my team and my matchup. So, again, I really want to apologize to my opponent for that. I would love to play you again in a game where that doesn't happen, but that's Pokemon. I have no control over it. I certainly don't, you know, feel like I would have done anything super differently. Like, I wouldn't have high horsepower the Okie Dokie. I would have switched out into something else. But, you know, it's impossible to know. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all next week as we continue on the BBR. We have 2 weeks left, but we are already in the playoffs. We're just fighting for which seed we are, and with like, I don't know, 2 undefeated teams, maybe 3 undefeated teams still, probably looking at like the 3 or 4 seed, depending on differentials. But thank you all so much for watching. Take care, everybody.